Gotta be the best, or you end up last. And that's okay, because we're all still getting faster. You gotta be the best, and do only the best you can be. And maybe then we'll finally be free. Just be the best, best you can be, and you will see.
Hello and welcome to the River's Edge Radio Awards. I am your host, Brian Crawford, and we have some great awards to hand out today. We have Michael Cohen right next to me. Michael, you get the Guest Who Came Into the Studio Live Award twice in a week. Woo!
Participation
Pat
trophies.
yourself on the back. Pat yourself on the back.
Proud
Don't
millennial.
sprain yourself
There we go.
as you do so. Tara, you get the Best Producer on a Friday Morning Award.
Yeah.
There you go. Woo! All right, and I am going to give myself an award as well. Yes, yesterday, after I was hand-picked to lead a discussion panel on musicians using social media, it was the most watched, most viewed streaming video for PodCamp Pittsburgh in the history of the organization. So I will definitely break my back and pat myself on the arm as well. The Grammys, as well as the Academy Awards, in my opinion, is a bunch of people patting themselves on the back, and that's
They're definitely people.
They're definitely people, but it's like a lot of back patting, you know, people in the industry congratulating themselves. To me, it's equivalent of going to an office Christmas party and watching the office, the office people give themselves awards for, best copier and best sales award. That's kind of what it is to me. I don't know. I think it's dumb. I'm not an award watcher.
Are there awards pens? Because I just realized that what
These
I
awards
thought
are pens.
was
Isn't
a
that
piece you had ripped off of a plant.
Is that not
actually a
badass?
pen.
Yes, these are disguised as pens. This is like our studio pens here. We have these, like, they're little blades of grass, and you can take the caps off. For those of you who are listening, those are the awards that we were giving out, and they are
Ooh, this is
pens.
This is a good chewing pen.
I am Brian Crawford. I am Pittsburgh's moral compass. This is the Millville Studios. You're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network, Pittsburgh's voice for local music. The Grammys did occur. I did not watch them. I had no interest. I will say I do know somebody who's a Grammy voter, so they do have some local people involved here in the Pittsburgh area. Corey Perotti, he's been on this show before, so interesting guy. Did you watch the Grammys? Did anyone watch the Grammys? Tara, Michael,
No.
anybody?
Did
No?
not watch the Grammys.
Did you have any interest in watching the Grammys? I had none.
I think
Zilch.
the Grammys
Nada.
are a
Is
lot
that where
like
did
us.
Beyonce perform in the pregnancy? No one knows I'm talking. You didn't watch. Okay,
No,
I
I
saw
don't know what you're
Beyonce. She
talking
was
about.
wearing a gold bikini and had her pregnant belly out. It was beautiful.
Yeah, was that a photo shoot or a
This
performance you're
year's
saying?
Grammys,
That was the Grammys.
this year's Grammys were kind of like going to a wake, from what I've gathered. It was just tributes to everyone. This guy died. This guy died. Remember this person. Remember this gal.
Right.
And that seemed to be the entire award show.
And
It
I
was
saw a
kinda
brief
like,
clip of Adele being like, I don't even deserve this. Beyonce should have had this. Which, she's right.
I don't know. There we go. Okay.
There you go.
I just think it's dumb. I don't know. I don't like award shows. I'm sorry. I hate them. I never liked watching award shows. Why does everyone have to sit there and watch these people pat themselves on the back? It's stupid. I don't know. I'm going to pat myself on the back, though. I mean, fantastic job yesterday. The panel at Work Hard Pittsburgh was unbelievable. An elite panel with an unbelievable moderator, if I do say so myself.
And if you tune in to watch this on the internet, you can even watch him pat himself on the back.
That's right. So, yeah, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you have the opportunity to watch somebody pat themselves on the back. I am Brian Crawford. You're listening to RiversEdgePGH.com, powered by NJL Web Tech. Honest, practical, and affordable. Go to njlwebtech.com for all of your web servicing needs. If you want to get us on the phone, you can do so at 412-407-2PGH. That's 412-407-2744. Or you can hit me up on Twitter at RiverTalkPGH. So, Evening with PodCamp, as I said, record-breaking. It was unbelievable. You have to watch it. Over 900 people tuned in.
Nice.
It was the biggest audience in PodCamp history, and I just want to give a huge thank you to Michael Sorg and Missy Sorg, Amanda Narcisi, and all of the planners of PodCamp Pittsburgh who gave me the opportunity and allowed me to shine, spread my wings, and try something new. That was the first time I moderated a serious discussion panel. I've had a panel before, but it was more like my talk show with a bunch of people who were discussing things. And it was awesome, but, it was all about me, as it should be. This time I allowed others to bask in the glory and share it with me as well. So it was, in my benevolence, I allowed people to join in and experience the fun with me.
Now,
So.
these wings of yours, are they like bird wings or more like a butterfly or some kind of creepy
Kind of like
bat
Birdman.
creature? Okay.
Birdman,
the weird movie about mental health, or Birdman the superhero?
Birdman the superhero.
Okay.
See, I kind of relate to Birdman, not only
The mental health guy.
both.
Okay.
No, the guy with the wings, okay, like he gets his power from the sun, and I could definitely respect that. I'm somebody when a ray of sunlight strikes me, I just light up. I gain power from that. I really do.
That's how I am for the first 30 seconds that a ray of sunlight hits me, and then I'm like,
Oh, it really, I really feel like wonderful. Like I remember at school, I would just sit there and like a ray of sun would hit me and I would light up. I have to sleep. Like I work overnight, as anyone who has listened to the show at any level knows. And I sleep during the day, and most people have to black out
Gotcha.
their blinds so they can sleep. I do not do so. I leave the blinds up, I let the sun hit me in the face, and I sleep right through it. I
oh,
love
you're
it.
like a cat.
I kind of, yeah. Sleep
Yeah.
during the day. Cats do sleep a lot. Like, I feel like that's all they do. How many hours?
2/3 of their life.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? How do they sleep so much?
They don't have anything else to do.
I guess not. In some ways, I feel like that would be wonderful not to have to worry about anything. But at the same time, I get like super. Does anyone else get super depressed if they don't have something to do at
Yeah.
all times of the day?
Yeah, I do.
Do you? So you understand? It's very frustrating, isn't it? Like, I just have to do something.
I think
like
that's a human problem, though.
Is it though? Because so many people just do nothing, I feel like. Like, so many of my friends, I'm like, hey, do you want to do something? Oh, we gotta rest. I had a rough weekend. And it's like, what did you do? I went to my mom's house. And I'm thinking, my God, what life do you live? Like you're worn out because you drove a few miles and sat there and ate free food?
Well, routine is important, If you get out of your routine, you got to reboot. Maybe.
I guess. I don't know. I just...
You're also different than the rest of us, I think.
How so?
You might just
You don't stop. You keep going and
be
going
charged
and
a
going.
little higher than most people who walk
Trust
around.
me, my battery's on E, and I'm just on
Right.
life support most of the time. But every once in a while I crash, and I sleep for like 16 hours.
Okay.
Recover,
That's not even that much.
and then... It's not?
I don't know. Compared to like the fact that you stay awake for longer
Weeks.
than that. Yeah.
On end? Sure. So we've got a lot to talk about today. We are talking about Governor Wolf. As you know, as you may not know, because I bash on him a lot because of his terrible budgeting, but I'm in this love-hate relationship with the man, I'll be honest, and he has done something that has just got me so giddy. I am so excited. I cannot tell you, and actually, I will tell you, and I will tell you after the break, but we're going to talk about that. I've got a series of executive orders that I am going to hand down today on today's program. Very important executive orders that you really got to pay attention to, because they will affect your life in a big way, and they must be adhered to. So those will come up after the half hour. And we're going to talk a little bit more about a situation going on in the Republican Party in Allegheny County. That's right, there's a Republican Party in Allegheny County, and they actually made the news. So we're going to talk about that.
Did someone die? Is it a sex scandal?
It's a situation,
It could be both.
Is there crack
and we're going to talk about that. But up next, we're going to talk about something that the governor has done that is just, it's got me giddy. I'll be honest, I'm very excited, and I cannot wait to tell you. And you may have to pay more in taxes, and I'm going to laugh in your face. That's up next. here on the River's Edge.
Hi, I'm Mike Storr, host of the Awesome Cast, which you can hear right here on River's Edge Radio. We're talking tech, getting geeky every week with people from Pittsburgh in the industry. Go check us out, awesomecast.net, or listen to us right here on River's Edge Radio, Thursday mornings, 8 a.m. after Funny Money.
So the governor is planning on making you pay for police.
Who pays for them now?
Well, it depends on where you live. We here live in Pittsburgh, so we have our own local police force. Not everybody does. I grew up in Westmoreland County, and here's a good question. What is the second largest municipality in southwestern Pennsylvania by population outside of Pittsburgh?
You got me.
Anyone know? Tara, do you know? The largest municipality.
What does municipality mean?
Like any kind of like city, town, borough, township, anything like that.
Is it Erie?
Oh, in southwestern Pennsylvania. The Pittsburgh metropolitan area. Erie is not in the Pittsburgh metropolitan
In Allegheny
area.
County?
No, just the metropolitan area. So that would include like
I don't know.
That would include like going out into like
my
Westmoreland County, down into Washington, up into Venango
Beaver County.
Probably you could probably throw that in there.
Well, I only know Beaver County. I don't really know any of the other.
Believe it or not, it's Hempfield Township out in Westmoreland County. Guess what Hempfield Township doesn't do? They don't pay for police. That's right, those bastards in Hempfield, those rich bastards, are milking us dry as we pay for their police protection. The reason why this has existed is in the past, Hempfield was a small, well, not small, it was expansive, but it was not very populous. It was a very sparse township. It was mostly farmland. So the state decided that Hempfield didn't need to pay for their own police protection. The state police would cover it. Well, now Hempfield has grown by leaps and bounds, and it is now populated, heavily populated, as I have said, the second most populous municipality in southwestern Pennsylvania. They don't pay for any police. We're paying for their police. That's how it goes. So now the governor is saying, no more. You're going to pay for your own police. So if they do not have their own local police force, they will now be assessed fees, which, as we know, as Mike likes to say, a fee is a tax, a fee is a tax, a fee is a tax. Mike McMullen.
Not
you.
this Mike.
Not Mike Cohen. Mike McMullen, who's usually here on Friday, but is sick this week, so he's not in.
Radio.
But he always says, a fee is a tax. So, yes, I would agree. This is definitely a tax. It's probably my mic. There's something wrong, yeah. But, do you want me to use that wireless mic?
Yeah, you want to try it out?
Yeah, let's try the wireless mic. I know how to use that.
Oh, gosh.
Alright, so let's turn my mic off. We'll turn this mic on. You could share
much better.
There we go. You could share a mic with my mom.
Cute.
Alright, technical issues. We've, ever since Ian Insect did this show yesterday, and as soon as he touched this board, it's just been chaos! Chaos ever since he touched the board.
How do I turn my headphones down just a little bit?
You can't.
Can you turn down?
We're having too much discussion over all this stuff. Just if you can fix it.
When he hits the high...
I know.
This show's going to shit.
Shit happens.
No more technology talk here on the River's Edge.
You also don't have to wear them.
Luckily, yeah, you don't have to wear them. Luckily, last night's discussion panel was great because this is definitely a lot of inside talk that should not be going on the air. This is
the real shit, folks.
This is it.
It's where the rubber meets the road.
This is on the cutting edge of radio here.
A new kind.
Gentlemen. It's some kind of radio today. Ian will no longer touch this board ever again. That's, I think, the general consensus for today's show. Now, we're gonna get him trained on the board and it'll work out. But this board is a piece of shit too, so that's another thing. We need to buy, I think, a new board possibly. And maybe that will fix all of our problems. Anyways, the governor, maybe we can get him to issue a tax to help us get a new board. Maybe we can use these fees that he is assessing to get us a new soundboard. But no. Okay, so he wants to make these people pay for police. I think it's fantastic. I think it's time that they pay their fair share. What do you think?
Oh, are you waiting for my opinion
I'm
on
waiting
that?
for your thoughts. Yeah, Hempfield, they need to pay their fair share.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of new in the area, but if they're wealthy, by all means, make them pay for anything we can.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of wealthy people live
Can we
in
just-
Hempfield.
Can we just send them police from Pittsburgh? We have more than we need, really. They can borrow a few. It's fine.
No, not unless they're going to pay us.
Ma-
We're paying-
Maybe we can just send them ours, and they can work out how everyone gets paid.
I want money from Hempfield. That's what I want. Give us your cash. I'm thrilled with
They've
this. The
got
governor,
no police. If you want money from Hempfield, we can get that.
We can get it. Let's do it. So yeah, he's making them pay for police. This is wonderful. This is something that is long overdue. I'm very excited. So this governor, I have such a love-hate relationship with him because he botched the first budget so bad, and it was such a disaster. His plans were so outlandish. He wanted to raise taxes to such a rate that it would have been a higher increase than every other state that was raising their taxes in the country combined. It was astronomical, and his taxes targeted the poor, to be honest. So it was really a bad decision. He wanted to cut corporate taxes, which was great, but he did that, so that was a huge negative. Really affected the schools in a bad way. So that was awful. But on the flip side, he's trying to tax Hempfield and make them pay for police. That's fantastic. He's freed up the liquor laws. He's fighting against heroin. He's doing some awesome things. So that's one awesome piece of legislation that we have going on. The other piece that is in Harrisburg right now, Dom Costa, who is my local representative here, is pushing for a bill to repeal the Real ID Non-Compliance Act. And if you've been listening to the show in the past, you'll know that Real ID non-compliance is basically the Republicans pushed a bill and got it passed that said that we cannot comply with the federal ID law, so now you have to buy a passport to fly to Philadelphia.
Gotcha.
So, you're not familiar with this? Okay, yeah. So Don Costa is trying to reverse that, so kudos to him. He gets a Penn Award as well.
I mean, I think that the attempt at resisting the Real ID Act was a very noble one that
Why?
a number of states undertook.
Only 6.
Right. Well, and if more had been on board, then it would have become unenforceable. And that's how these
What's
things
so
work.
noble about it?
Well, I think the government perpetually tries to kind of centralize documentation of the people in this country, and I think the idea essentially was that the states will get to decide who gets documented and how.
Well, I'm a big fan of small government, local government, for sure, but the idea of a federal ID is not a new concept. We have a social security card. That is a federal
Totally.
ID.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think there's any problem with... And here's the thing. A passport is a federal ID, too. And sure, you don't... There was no law that required you to comply, but if you want your ID to be recognized by the federal government, then you have to comply.
Well,
so by
right.
not complying, Pennsylvania is now sticking it to the taxpayer again, and now you have to pay for a passport.
Well, maybe you could view it as the government sticking it to the taxpayer and forcing them to get passports.
How? Because the state
Because
doesn't want
they
to...
decided that we needed a new type of ID that
Well, what
required
they-
more information than we needed before, and then said that no one could fly without it, and that they would no longer recognize state-issued IDs unless they complied with these new standards. That sounds like a move on the government's part, not on the state's part.
Yeah, but the state can or cannot comply. They've decided not to comply. So
Okay,
now,
well then
so
how-
now the citizens of Pennsylvania are now on the hook.
That sounds like a thing that the federal government did to the citizens of Pennsylvania, not a thing that the state of Pennsylvania did to their citizens.
Well, it's only one of 6 states.
So if I pass a new rule that was not in place before, and you don't comply,
and they also were
and-
given over 10 years
hold
to
on,
comply.
and then I hand down consequences to you, is that a thing you just did to yourself, or is that a thing that I just did to you?
They had 10 years to get it together.
That's great, but you're
And it could have cost-
you're
it
kind of
could have-
skirting the issue there. If I pass a new rule that did not exist before,
Okay.
and you don't comply, and I punish you for that, is that a thing you're doing to
But he's
yourself?
not punishing the states. They're not punishing the states. What they are saying is it's not going to be recognized as a federal ID. And as a
Right.
federal government, they have the right to decide what's going to constitute as a federal ID.
And without the federal ID, you can't fly now?
Well, because it was recognized as a federal ID before. So, yeah, you need a federally recognized ID in order to fly. That's always been the fact. It's just that they've recognized the state IDs as federal IDs, but Pennsylvania and 5 other states do not have what the federal government deems enough information to be secure to allow you to fly. So now in Pennsylvania, you're going to need a passport, unless this changes. And thankfully, Don Costa is working towards changing it. The sad part is now it's going to cost an unbelievable amount of money to make the appropriate changes. Whereas if they'd have just rolled it out from the beginning, they could have incrementally rolled out the new information on these IDs, and we would be okay. But now it's going to cost an unbelievable amount of money on top of the deficit that we're already running in Pennsylvania. So, and they spent money, instead of just not rolling the program out, which was something they could have just done, they actually spent money to enact legislation saying that they can't do it. So now in order to do it, they have to spend more money to enact new legislation to undo the old legislation, and then spend money to comply if they decide to comply.
Educate me a little bit. What new forms of information are required to become a federal ID? What is it actually that the government is asking of us that they weren't asking before?
I would look it up, but I no longer have hands. For those of you who are listening, yeah, if you could look it up, because I know it wasn't anything extreme, but
I guess what I'm saying is what is the difference now? What has happened? Is there a lag on the videos? Is that what's going on?
There is. There's always a lag.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not. It's like on radio when they have like a 7-second delay. Yeah, for those of you who are listening, we had a microphone failure, which actually I should probably. So I've switched microphones, so I no longer have access to my my hands to type. But yeah, I'm just kudos to Don Costa. At least he's working through this. I just know I don't want to be in a situation where I need a passport to fly across the state.
And so the driver's license isn't enough.
Not anymore.
That's
no.
wild to me.
Yeah. And I am wondering if you will even be able to use a driver's license to apply for a job now, because with the Homeland Security clearances, you need 2 forms of ID, and I'm not sure if the driver's license will be recognized now. But go ahead, you've got information on the changes.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. But I guess, again, this is one of these things where it sounds like the federal government has decided something for all of us, and our state said that it wasn't going to comply, and we're being punished for it.
I think though that I think that there have to be changes going forward about like personal identification though, right?
Sure.
That's like as we move into more like we all kind of have like an online identification or something like that'll be how it's like we're moving in that direction,
yeah,
right?
There needs to be something to verify that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So like in the long run, identity will just get more secure.
Yeah, and I don't think it's it's not unreasonable to me. People act like
I'm
this
just
is some
confused
sort
about
of.
it.
Well, people are going crazy over this. Like it's this huge ordeal that the federal government is infringing on your rights. But like I said, there's always been a federal ID. It's not something that's new, and it's really not unreasonable. I don't think.
So
either.
if we're going by Wikipedia here, which I know is a little,
just like a big source here on the River's Edge. That's like a Funny Money's big source for
it's a little
information.
dubious, but long title. An act to establish and rapidly implement regulations for state driver's license and identification document security standards to prevent terrorists from abusing asylum laws of the United States, to unify terrorism-related grounds for inadmissibility and removal, and to ensure expeditious construction of the San Diego border fence.
Mm-hmm.
What about that is a thing I'm excited about?
What I'm excited about is the fact that I now need a passport to fly to Philadelphia, and it could have cost the state practically nothing to save me money, but instead now $100 is coming out of my pocket so I can fly across state, because they decided to sit on something for 10 years that they could have easily put into place at little cost. Instead, now it's going to cost millions of dollars to implement it, because if they're going to implement it, it's going to be an all-at-once type of thing now. Instead of over the 10 years that they had to implement it, they could have did it while you went back to renew your driver's license. And
okay, so here's my question, and then I'll stop being a pundit and go back to just making fun of stuff. So is anything that the federal government mandates of you or of your state that will eventually inconvenience you, your state should just comply with it? Just whatever it is?
No, if it's infringing on my rights, but I don't understand how a more secure identification...
Now, when you say
card
more
is-
secure, is it that more information... It's that more information is required from you, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the government should just be able to have access to whatever they want from you, basically?
They already do.
Well, Google does.
Well, that's...
Or Facebook, but...
Alexa's
We-
listening to us right now.
yeah, she is.
So we're
You
taking
just said
an-
Alexa.
AKA the NSA.
an entirely defeatist attitude. That just to be clear.
No, not at all. I
Give the federal government anything it asks for in regards to privacy or identification, and if you don't give it to them, that's your fault. Whatever happens.
I think that's an ongoing fight, and will always remain that way.
And I think there's
privacy
something
versus
completely
security.
different versus, tapping into someone's phone versus updating an ID. I think, that's complete apples to oranges.
Okay.
So,
I think that's solidly on a spectrum, and is
Yeah.
with many mixed apple oranges along the way.
But again, it's an ongoing balance.
Brand new fruit that
Oh.
we've never seen
Yum.
before.
we're going to take a quick break, and when I come back, I have a series of executive orders that must be followed to the letter, and that's up around the bend here on the River's Edge.
They did leech people up until, like 1910 or so, I think.
How do you know that? Like till 1910 or so.
Well, it's for reading.
I used to get girls till
Medical
1910 or so. I used to have girls give me booty calls till 1910 or so.
Hey, Money Bags, tune into Funny Money at 7 a.m. Thursdays.
Did you hear Tom? He said 7 a.m. Tune in.
My fellow Americans, I, the master of the Millville Shore, king of the Allegheny, has come down with several executive orders to help you live a more productive life. First off, Executive Order 1.
Maybe. What you got?
Tonight, 7 p.m., bingo here in the Millville studios. $1 for 2 cards. Proceeds benefit the Millville Music Festival. It is my decree that all residents of Millville come to this bingo night, spend at least $30 in bingo cards, or else they shall be deemed non-residents. And as non-residents, they are eligible for deportation.
You gonna bar them from flights?
I am going to bar them from Millville. We will build a wall, and we will push those bastards into Shaler, where they belong. Executive Order 2, tomorrow night, Shaler Palooza. Speaking of Shaler, support the Shaler School District, and that will be at Mr. Smalls. You can see it right here if you're listening. Tickets are $10 at the door, which is a steal. Great local music from local artists. It's going to be Saturday, 7 p.m. at the main stage at Mr. Smalls. My third executive order for today has to do with trash in the break room, and I have nothing written because it is in my mind, and this is theater of the mind, so just close your eyes and listen in, because I am going to tell you what is wrong with America, what is wrong with Pittsburgh, and what we need to do to change things. People are pigs, slobs, filth, rats. It's terrible. So the other day at work...
rats.
Yes, but these are the bad kind of rats. These are like the sewer rats, the big, fat, ugly rats.
Those are the
that
ones
are
I sympathize
poisoning-
with.
Poisoning our break rooms. Where do you work? You don't have to tell me where. People are slobs. Where I work... I know this. You can't touch this mic at all anymore. I don't know what happened to this cord. So anyways, where I work, people leave trash all over the place. Like, literally, I go in there the one day, the slobs, the filth, just slop everywhere. You have to circle the break room a million times to try to find one table that is not covered in crumbs, grime, or slime. People just leave bags of food laying around. The other day, someone left a bag on the freaking windowsill. There's a bag of food just laying on the windowsill, no one to be found, just leaving their trash anywhere. And then the birds come in. We have more birds where I work than people tweeting and
sounds great.
Flying around. You try to eat lunch there. I mean, I remember the one girl, we would eat outside. The one girl came outside with us, and she said that she likes to sit outside because there's more nature in the break room than there is in the outside picnic area. The other day, there are birds racing back and forth, flying above your head. You can hear them swooping, whoosh, as they fly past, feasting. They're living like kings. These birds do not have to fly south for the winter because where they are at, they have food provided. They have nesting material provided. They have all sorts of space to fly around. And the pigs that I work with just provide a smorgasbord for these birds to feast on.
Gotta respect that hustle.
I respect the birds. I mean, they're smart, intelligent creatures. I mean, they don't have to fly south. They're living the life of luxury. Kudos to them.
Good
Shame
on you, birds.
on everyone else. If you're leaving trash in the break room, I think it's acceptable to go like medieval style and chop off the right hand or the left hand, depending on what hand you are. And do you know why they did that? Apparently, they chopped off your right hand if you were right-handed, because people in medieval times would wipe their ass with their left hand, and then they would have to eat with their poop hand. So then they would get diseases from eating with their poop hand. So if the wound did not kill them, then eating with the poop hand would kill them instead.
We've come a long way.
So we have we? I don't know. The other day I was at a bar in Millville, and I'm not going to name the bar, but my God, these people were screaming, and I actually left because it was kind of disgusting, because apparently somebody shat in the bathroom, and they not
Like on
only
the
did
floor? Or what do you mean?
On the floor, and then I guess they like took a paper towel and wiped it up, and then put the paper towel on the back of the commode and like wiped it on the walls, everything. And yeah, it was terrible, but they kept talking about it over and over and over again. And I'm like, you're trying to enjoy a beer, and I'm like, all right, enough. I can't deal with this anymore. So I left the place. But it reminds me of a story that I once experienced when I was a day shift front end supervisor at a local retail store.
Okay.
And you know, like Tara, you're a female.
Yep.
You know that many women do the squat and poop, correct?
Yeah, like in public.
Yeah,
or
so
squat
they don't
and pee also.
Yeah, they don't want to sit on the seat, so they do the squat and poo.
Yeah.
So I once had to go into the women's restroom to clean up a mess, and somebody did the squat and poop, but they shit with such force that it slammed onto the seat and then ricocheted onto the both walls on both sides of the stall, then dripped down the walls onto the floor and ran into each stall on each side. I have never seen anything like this before in my life. I was impressed,
And
to be quite honest.
You cleaned it up.
I had to clean it up because here's the thing.
Oh, you're ready to be a father.
Well, I don't know
Can't
about
get any grosser than that.
but yeah, true. But I always felt bad. When I worked at Kmart, there was a position called the O1, and the O1 was like the bitch of Kmart. And they had to do everything, and they had to do all the dirty jobs, and they got paid the least amount of money as well. And I always thought that was kind of wrong. So as a supervisor, I never made my employees go clean up the shit.
Gotcha.
I went and I did it myself. I figured, I'm making more money. Why would I make my people go in there and do something that I wouldn't do myself? So I always cleaned up the dirty messes, and that was one of the worst.
Wow.
Good story.
Yeah, I mean, literally, can you imagine the force that it would take to have shit ricochet back up, hit the walls, drip down, and then, I mean, that was like, they shit in basically 3 stalls with one explosion, one force. Can you imagine, like, the dump, like, poof!
Do they not teach people about the paper triangle? Is that
I
not
know. Well, why not just sit down? You're not in any danger.
Ooh.
You're not.
Well,
Also
I mean,
that. Sometimes when I'm in a rush,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, dude, just take it.
Well, I definitely
Urban
do.
myths
What I do is
abound.
I put like I take the toilet paper and I line up the seat
Yeah,
on
the
all
triangle,
sides.
the paper
Yeah.
triangle. Yeah.
And then I sit on top of that piece of
Yeah.
paper because I don't want to share a seat with some foreign ass.
Butt to butt.
So no, that's ugh.
It doesn't sound very dangerous to me.
No,
That's
just
very
wipe
good.
it
Well,
down
see, I'm
most
very
of the
OCD,
time.
so like when I go into a public bathroom and I breathe in the fumes of poo, I feel like it infests my entire body and infects my lungs. I can feel the poop odor like creeping down into my innards and infecting my entire body.
Yeah,
Does
well, yeah,
anyone
I
else
think
get
you're
that?
no, I think you're just imagining it, and there's poop everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but it's like, well, actually,
there's poop
in-
inside of you. There's poop on the outside of you.
And
Yeah, but this is
actually,
foreign
if
poop.
You
This
can
isn't my
smell
poop.
Well, I
that's-
mean foreign poop.
That's poop particles, and they're entering your lungs, and then your lungs disperse them to the rest. You actually run on poop for a few minutes after.
I know, and
after
Rather than
you-
oxygen?
Yeah, poop rather than oxygen after you come out of the bathroom.
There's many benefits, bacterial and otherwise.
to what?
Poop.
Yep.
To inhaling poop?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
No, you're wrong. You're throwing back the cough medicine a little bit early tonight. No, there's nothing beneficial about breathing in poop fumes. There's a reason why it smells bad.
Because it's dangerous.
Yeah, your body's
like
telling
you don't
you
want
that.
to eat it.
Yeah, your
Right.
body's telling you that
But
this
breathing
is a
it.
negative.
But it's an important part of you. It's
well,
just
everybody
another
poops,
part of
but
me.
just don't like. I don't know. I just don't want to smell it, and don't poop on the seat. And I don't know.
No, don't poop on the seat.
See what I like what Target's talking about doing. So you heard about like the big battle over the bathrooms at Target, correct? You've heard about this, Michael?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
so
quite
basically
familiar.
the battle at Target is
Is that still going on, or is that basically over? at
well,
this
I think
point?
it's over because of Target's new policy that they're supposed to be implementing. So they had, a men's room and a women's room and a family bathroom. And then they said that, if you're a man who identifies as a woman, you can go into the women's bathroom. And if you were a woman who identifies as a man, you can go into the men's bathroom. Well, everybody was pissed off and they started boycotting Target. So then Target decided, you know what? Everybody gets their own bathroom. So Target now is apparently going to be rolling out a situation where every bathroom is an individual bathroom, and there is no men's room, there's no women's room, it's just bathrooms. And like you just have your own door with your own like sink and everything
I
else
believe they're
in
called
it.
single occupancy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's familiar. It's what Starbucks already has. It's what
I like it.
Most restaurants.
I
have.
like it. I like it a lot. And it has nothing to do with people who identify as anything or another. I just like having my own bathroom where I don't have
Yeah.
to see other people. So
They're
I
not. They're
fully
not good. They're not very good at the privacy thing.
what's
I
not
think.
good at the privacy thing?
Multiple stall
Oh
bathrooms.
yeah, no, exactly. Like this is wonderful. You can just go in, you can have your own bathroom, no one's around you, and you can you can go in and you can test the waters, and if it has a poop smell, you can go to the next one.
I don't want some stranger listening to me break up and snort Adderall at Walmart.
That's right.
That's personal.
Exactly.
You
So
shouldn't be doing that. There's kids.
No.
There's kids around.
Right, and now they don't need to listen to me either, right? It's a two-way street. Privacy
Exactly.
is a two-way street.
So Allegheny County, the GOP, the executive director of the Allegheny County GOP, which yes, there is a Republican Party in Allegheny County, and they've made the news. There's a picture of this guy's face. I'll post it later, but they've arrested him on.
Not an attractive individual.
No. He let's see, is charged with one count of simple assault, and it had to do with his girlfriend. So there's nothing positive about assault, but in the Republicans' eyes, they may be at this point saying, hey, any publicity is publicity because this is probably the biggest news that's come out of the Allegheny County GOP. And maybe people know that there is an Allegheny County GOP.
Wow.
No, it's terrible. This guy, he's been released. And but seriously though, it's interesting that this is the first time I think that the Allegheny County's GOP has really made the news in any way in quite some time. There's nobody in Allegheny Council, there's nobody in City Council that's a Republican, and actually a lot of people who have run as Republican have actually switched the registration to independent in order to attempt to run in Allegheny County. And the funny thing is about that is does anybody know where the first GOP national convention was held?
Do tell.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Aw.
So and
When was that?
Back before Abraham Lincoln, so before he was president. So this guy is putting Republicans back in the news again, and it's a terrible thing. But given the current state of the Republican Party, he may be the next candidate for county executive. And, you know, if he follows Donald Trump's lead, maybe he can win. So it's sad, but it's out there. But yeah, so the Republicans have made the news again, and they're back in the news. Oh, and the city is looking at creating a bike lane advisory board. And
what does that mean? I already know how to use a bike lane.
Do you?
Well, I think we're going to get into that a little bit next week.
Bike lanes?
Yeah, we're going to talk about this advisory. So that's a tease for this coming Monday.
Am I getting a new bike lane somewhere?
Maybe.
It won't help,
Well-
according to Brian.
Well, no, I'm not anti-bike lane. I am for intelligent bike lanes. Bike lanes put in correct places. Not bike lanes that end in the middle of an intersection. That's a free-for-all that turn a two-way street into a one-way street. Not that kind of bike lane. Yes.
I'm okay with turning a two-way street into a one-way street. I do not like it when my bike lane ends in the middle of an intersection.
I think that bike lanes should be put in place not only to protect cyclists, but also to ease traffic, not create more traffic problems. But we're going to get into that on Monday.
Okay.
The Bike Advisory Board. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's the weird news here on the River's Edge.
Hey, this is Matt Geika, your host of Geik's Got Game, 8 a.m. every Friday here on the River's Edge. I'll take a peek behind the sports media curtain, zoom out for the big picture, and as always, obsess over the details of the sports, teams, and players we love or love to hate. It's Geik's Got Game every Friday at 8 a.m. on the River's Edge.
I've got two microphones, and I don't know what to do. Yes.
So what is looking directly into the camera for me? Is that when I stare
That
here?
one, yes,
Yeah.
that is the camera.
Okay, and when I look
So-
at that, I'll have a essentially straight ahead.
Yeah.
Yes,
Is that what I
you're-
should be doing, or should I be looking at you? Like, what should I be doing?
do whatever your
No,
heart
no, no.
desires.
But like, what is the professional thing to do?
Well, we're not a TV show, so, you know, we're a radio show. We gotta talk about this stuff off the air. This is not...
We are off the air.
Well, no, we're not. We're on the air. We're on the air. Your headphone's not working. So anyways,
Oh.
a Florida police chief who wants to
Can you hear?
fire... There's a police chief in Florida
I mean, I hear
who wants
chase
to fire...
music. Okay.
Who wants to fire two officers.
Good.
Yes.
Get rid of them. What'd they do?
They're having sex.
The officers?
With each other or
So
other
what?
people?
With each other.
Aw.
And they're sexting each other.
Of all the things to fire a
pictures.
Florida police officer for.
That's true. But, yeah. He's
It's fun to make
firing
fun of
police
Florida.
officers. So.
And police.
I'm tired.
Sorry.
We've got bingo tonight. No, that's okay. Tonight's at 7 p.m. right here in Millville Studios. We have bingo. You have to come out, support local music here in Millville. And that's it for me. I'm taking off. What do you have coming up? Anything?
Oh, are we wrapping it up?
We're wrapping it up.
Oh, geez. I have got a show on Friday night, the 24th, at the Getaway Cafe
All right.
over in Brookline. And other events that people could enjoy going to that I will also be at is there are the class shows at Arcade Comedy Theater on Tuesday the 21st and at Unplanned Comedy Theater in Lawrenceville the 24th.
Very cool. There's like people, like, that's the thing. Okay, so Millville Studios, for those of you who are not familiar, because I don't know if anybody can hear this or not coming across the mics, but you may hear some construction
You can hear
noise.
it.
Yeah, so we live in an active art studio. We live in an active art studio. You could tell how much I'm here. We broadcast in an active art studio. And actually, I have slept here before. So, like, I used to come here and do like post-production, but like our old computer took forever to do anything and it was a nightmare. So I used to like throw things up and then run out onto that couch out there and take a nap, and then I would come back in. So
I mean, this is a cool space. For folks who haven't been down here before, there's all kinds of different art projects going here. They have yoga. You walk by what looks like half a dozen different artists' little cubby setup, little booths almost. Like,
Yeah.
it's a neat space. I've only been here twice, and each time I walk through, I'm always looking at something like, what is that
So
gonna be?
come out March 25th, actually. They're having an open house.
Nice.
And that's going to be at 1 p.m. here at Millville Studios. But if you want to get a sneak peek and see it early, come out tonight for bingo. 7 p.m. You do not want to miss it. I'll be back on Wednesday. Wait, today's today's
Friday.
date? Today's Friday. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. with Jay Cooper and Howie D. Mack. I'll
Nice.
probably be even less awake than I am now after tonight's bingo. And then you can come check me out Saturday night at Shaler Palooza. I will be broadcasting from that location as well. We'll be broadcasting the music from some awesome local artists here from Shaler High School. For Michael Cohen, Tara Molesworth, I am Brian Crawford. Local music up next here on Pittsburgh's Voice for Local Music, the River's Edge Radio Network.